So how much do your electric bills actually go up in California? If you live within the territory of SDGE, Edison, or PG&E, you probably noticed that your electric bills have gone up over time. But I bet if you've looked into solar, the rep have said, hey, your bills are going to go up 10% every year if you stay with these utility companies. Well, is that true? What are the real numbers for how much Edison or PG&E or SDGE have gone up over the last, say, 10 years? I'm going to focus on Edison in this video because that's where I live. But PG&E and SDGE both have increased at about the same rate, if not faster, than SDGE. So this is an article from San Gabriel Valley Tribune, a local newspaper, saying that electric bills have essentially doubled over the last decade. And they say that these are kind of what we're looking at, with SDGE going up 80%, 90% with Edison, and then 110% with PG&E. It's interesting here, though, that the averages are still a lot lower than I'm seeing when I'm getting people's electric bill. And when I go on just Edison's website, the averages are way higher than this. So I'm not sure where they're getting those averages. Maybe it's from, care discounts, people that have other discounts, and people that are paying the normal rate. I don't know. But if we go on their website, we have, their off-peak at 39 cents, 35 cents for super off-peak, 52 cents for mid-peak, off-peak at 39 cents. So we have, and then after the baseline, you get these additional, these different rates here. And then same thing with the summer, we get the 36, 59, 37, and then after baseline, 27, 50, and 27. So we have these rates here that are on the website that don't seem to line up with what people are seeing from their actual bill. So I want to go back to the historical data to see what the actual rates were in 2015, because that was the oldest I could get in Edison. I guess they only allow you to go back 10 years. And then we'll go to 2025 and see the difference. So if you want to look at this, this is the website. It's right here. I'll link it below. It's SD's regulatory tariff books. It's the historical rates. We're going to go to 2015. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go to the time of use D. It's the most basic rate that Edison offers, and it's what 80% of people have. They have this time of use D. This is from 2015. You can see up here 2015. We're going to go down to their rate schedule. It's a little bit confusing. I think they do it intentionally, but you got the delivery side and then you got the generation side. So essentially on peak in 2015 was 11.7 cents and then 33.6 cents for the generation. Deliveries on this side, generation on this side. In 2015, that meant that your on peak time was 44 cents. Then this off peak bracket, when we add those up, we get 28 cents. Then when we go to super off peak, we get 11 cents. And in the winter, we get 35 cents, we add those, 25 cents here and 11 cents here. So we add all those up, we add those 6 numbers up, and we just take the average of that. That gives us an average of 25 cents per watt in 2015. That's the average. If everybody was using a little bit of on peak, a little bit of off peak, a little bit of super off peak, and it was about the same, the average price per watt would be 25 cents. Well, let's do that same thing for 2025. Same thing here, we got delivery and service, and then we got generation here. On peak here in the summer is now 35.5 cents and 24 cents. That puts us at the 59 cents that we're getting here when we see that in the summer. That's the same thing that we're seeing on Edison's rate schedule right now. Then for mid-peak, we're at 48 cents. For off-peak, we're at 37 cents right here. Then for the winter, we're at 52 cents, then 40 cents, and then 36 cents. And when we average all of those out, those different rates at different times of the day and then at different times of the year, we get an average of 45 cents per watt. If we do the math there, that would put us at 80% increase over those 10 years, or an average of 8% increase over those 10 years. So let's look at another rate that Edison had between these 10 years and see what those ones look like. Because some people didn't have time of use until recently. This is just like the domestic service, this is the tiered program where you had a certain amount of power at a certain price and then they give you another bump up and another bump up until you had gone up to 200% of the baseline. So let's just look at it and let's just add up the first 3. So we'll go the baseline, then we'll use the 101 to 130, and then the 131 to 200%. And we'll use those just to make it simple and to make it more accurate, because I don't think a lot of people were going over that 200% baseline. Just keep it accurate there. Okay, so if we add up the numbers here, we have for the baseline, the first tier, we got 14 cents, then we got 20 cents, and then we got 24 cents at that 31 to 200% at that 24 cents. And so if we add those up and take the average, that's 19 cents back in 2015. 19 cents would be the baseline on this tier program. Well, now if we go to 2025, if you were still on this program, even though they've tried to kick you off 1,000 times, hopefully, if you are still on that, keep it as long as you possibly can, because it is much better than the alternative time of use. But what we've got now is a little bit different program where you get a baseline and then you get a non-baseline, anywhere from 101 to 400%. They don't do any of the multiple tiers, they just have one extra tier and it changes the price there. We got 33 cents at the beginning here, and then we got 42 cents after that first baseline. So that second tier is 42 cents. Our first tier is 33 cents. If we take that average, that's 37 cents. Well, now if we take the difference between what it was in 2015 to what it is now at 37 cents, from 19 to 37 cents, that's a 95% increase. So with this one, the tiered program has actually gone up 95%, or about 9.5% per year, where the time of use has gone up 8% per year. So it still is actually lower. The tiered program is actually quite a bit lower still than the time of use, but it has gone up a little bit faster than the time of use has. I think it's because when they introduced the time of use, it started out higher than the current tiered structure. So I think that's why we're only seeing an 80% increase with the time of use, but then a 95% increase with the tiered program. This is all from Edison's website. They are a publicly traded company, so they have to disclose this information. We can actually get stuff that's further back, but I have to request it. For now, this is our 10-year look at how much power has increased cost over the last 10 years. And if we average out those two increases, the 95 and the 80%, we're probably at close to 87% increase over the last 10 years. Somewhere between 80, 90%, I think, is a good way to look at it. Depending on how much power you use, depending on what tier you're in, depending on when you use the power at time of use, your rates may change at a different amount than this, but on average, we're looking at about an 80 to 90% increase over the last 10 years. Do I think it's going to continue? Well, there's a couple things to say that it will. California is getting more and more strict with what they're allowing to be producing electricity to provide electricity for California. That just means we're looking for more green energy, and green energy is expensive. They're shutting down, coal power plants, natural gas fields, nuclear plants. And on top of that, with the Eaton fire, it's most likely being blamed on Edison. It does look like the rates are going to continue to go up at about this pace. And that's one of the big reasons why California is pushing solar so hard, and that's why so many people are going solar, because these rates are ridiculous. These rates are so much higher than other states. I think they're about like 2.5 times what other states currently have as price for their power. So if you're in California and you're interested in seeing if solar is a good fit for you, feel free to reach out. I have my email in the description below. Also, if you have any questions or thoughts on the rates that we talked about today, feel free to put them in the comments. I will answer all of your comments. And if there's a lot of comments on a certain subject, I will make a new video explaining some of the things that I might have missed in this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time.